Watching WALL-E in 2024 is as good, if not better, than watching it in 2008. Here's why. Have you ever heard of the golden rule, show, don't tell? Well, this movie takes that to the next level. Bad movies use exposition to let the audience know what's going on. Good movies use clever dialogue, and this movie uses almost exclusively visuals, and it still tells a great story. Basically, until 30 or 40 minutes, there is no word being said in this movie. And having said that, we need to talk about the visuals, because if the visuals of a 16-year-old animated movie are off-putting by today's standards, it can't be timeless. I'm no expert in the technicalities of animations, but I do like to analyze how the animation makes me feel. And Pixar has a magical animation style where they always seem to pick the perfect style within the current technological era that when you watch it a couple of years later, you never feel like that it's old. In 2008, they must have had a lot of technical limitations, but they chose a style where as a viewer, you don't feel like there were any limitations. I would even go as far to say that this movie could release this year and people wouldn't even notice its age. I mean, take a look at this scene, for example. The ambient lighting and the way the lights reflect on Eve's smooth, modern surface, and by comparison having WALL-E with his old, rugged, rusty design. You don't feel like that this scene had any technical limitations. This is just what the world of WALL-E looks like, and you accept that as a viewer, no matter if you watched the movie in 2008 or in 2024. But putting technicalities aside, the emotions this movie conveys with its visuals is truly breathtaking. And the movie pairs this with almost no dialogue. Have you ever heard of the fact that 80% of our communication is not made with our mouth? Yeah, that's why this movie works. And having no dialogue makes it so timeless, because the way people speak and the jokes people make and the way they talk, that can change. Like, language changes with time, but how we convey emotions with our body doesn't change. We learn so much about the characters and connect to them just by seeing how they interact with the world. I mean, the whole opening scene is about watching WALL-E in his daily routine and seeing how he became more than just a robot. I mean, a robot doesn't look at the stars and play some music to give him the right mood. And by not having any voiceover explaining this to us, we're kind of analyzing and understanding what he's doing and getting a glimpse of his character just by watching him. Or this robot that finally decides to take a leap of faith and jump off the line that he's followed all his life. The movie doesn't tell me that he's followed the lines all his life and that this was a big step for him, just how he acts as a robot, and that's so impressive. I know exactly what he's thinking or feeling. I mean, if they're thinking and feeling, I just assume they are. I mean, there are robots, but you get the point. And for those who are wondering, all of this plays a big part in the love story between WALL-E and Eva, and although that love story is absolutely brilliant, the love story in itself, in my opinion, is not what makes this movie timeless, so that's why I won't be focusing on that in this video.
WALL-E. WALL-E.
WALL-E has 4 timeless themes: environmentalism, consumerism, technological dependency, love and hope. All of these are part of the dystopian future setting of WALL-E. But before we get into each one, not only the themes are timeless, but the way the movie portrays these themes manages to be timeless by establishing a dystopian future so far in the future that when watching this movie in 2024, it still feels like a dystopian future, and not that, oh look, this is what old movies thought the future would be like. If anything, the future depicted in WALL-E feels even more tangible. It shows society living in space, having robots do everything for them. And the intelligence of machines is far more evolved, and today we moved in that direction. We have robots taking over our work in the factory, we have robots doing mundane tasks at home like vacuum cleaners, we have AI on the rise, and we have, of course, Elon Musk trying to establish a base on Mars. So the dystopian future of WALL-E is still very futuristic for today's standards, but it's a bit closer and more personal than it was 2008. First, environmentalism. The film critiques humanity's impact on the planet and advocates for sustainability. These concerns not only remain relevant, but are even more relevant today, making the story relatable to audiences across time. Especially because the movie portrays these themes in a, dare I say, realistic manner. Earth in this movie wasn't ruined because people did nothing. Earth was ruined because people changed too late, as shown for example by the wind turbines on top of piles of trash. And I don't want to sound too pessimistic, I don't think that this will actually happen, but as far as the dystopian version of the climate crisis looks, this one is pretty damn tangible, and even more tangible today, as sad as that is.
Seeds in the ground, pour water on them, and they grow food like pizza.
Consumerism. The film satirizes excessive consumption and encourages viewers to question their relationship with material possession. This theme is depicted by showing us these humans completely without their own goals. They are blasted with advertisement and basically only exist in order to consume. And this critique retains relevance as consumerism continues to evolve.
Shockers, try blue. It's the new red.
Ooh. Technological dependency. This goes hand in hand with consumerism. Every mundane task a human could have is taken over by machines in this movie. And while this is at first not a bad thing, WALL-E explores the potential dangers of over-reliance on technology and raises questions about its impact on human connection and society. These issues remain timely in our technology-driven world. And last but not least, love and hope. Although the theme of love and hope isn't exactly part of WALL-E's dystopian future, seeing how one individual can inspire others trapped in this dystopian world is something I think we in 2024 can still relate to, and generations to follow can as well. The unlikely romance between WALL-E and Eve reminds viewers of the power of connection and the importance of fighting for a better future. Now, on a more personal note, what really amazed me about watching this movie in 2024 is that you start to realize how modern media is optimized for ever-shortening attention spans. I mean, the entire intro of the movie is really, there is a bit of music in the background, but besides that, it's really just visuals. There's no big action scene, there's no big hook, it just shows you a daily life in WALL-E and hopes that you're actually interested in finding out what WALL-E is doing. And it pains me to admit that there are probably many people that, if you watch the movie today, they would find the intro very boring. And I guess you could argue that that aspect makes the movie less timeless, but I personally hope that our attention spans aren't gonna get shorter and shorter. So having this movie actually taking its time to breathe and develop its story is for me actually really refreshing and gives it more of a timeless feel. Do you still enjoy watching WALL-E in 2024? Let me know how you think the movie achieves this in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.